righty. We're here on the Two Johns and a Joe once again, and we're talking about going from the psychedelic age to the heavy metal age. Okay, and just heard a little bit of Deep Purple. And guys, when did this kind of come about? What year?
Well, I don't know if there's a definite year, but there's no doubt in my mind. I think John will agree that heavy metal was around before Black Sabbath. It was just a catchphrase. Somebody, some writer, some critic came up with this cliche term, heavy metal, and supposedly another story says that it was even applied to a non-heavy metal band. Humble Pie was heavy metal? Not in my dictionary, not at all. So there was a right. Difference of opinion, but there was a metal way before Black Sabbath. Right. I'd say 67. Blue Cheer, definitely heavy metal.
Right. Blue Cheer, 67.
Well, the legend has it that the phrase heavy metal came from the Steppenwolf song "Born to Be Wild."
And
I like Smoke and Lightning, Heavy Metal Thunder.
Right. And the song is very metallic, but it's not real metal. But it's hard rock. Mm-hmm. So it came out of that hard rock scene.
It's hard blues.
Right.
And it definitely has to have guitars. I mean,
definitely.
I mean, it has to have the guitar sound. And we got Black Sabbath. We have the Blues Magoos. Who else from that era?
Would you have
Iron Butterfly?
Iron Butterfly.
There was that mixture of metal and psychedelics.
Psychedelic and.
If you want to put in Iron Butterfly and Blue Cheer, then you can't leave out Led Zeppelin. Even though every song is not metal, the heavy songs are heavy metal. Whether it's the Immigrant Song, whether it's a whole lot of love.
I
you
would
could say is heavy metal.
Yeah.
You could say that they blended light and shade, and all the shade songs, all the dark songs are heavy metal.
Right. But you have to admit, though, that even Led Zeppelin will admit their music was not metal. They've said it many, many times. They said, no, it's not metal. Yeah. But there are tinges of metal in there, whether they admit it or not.
I think that the first real band that came out and said, we are heavy metal, might have been like a Iron Maiden or a Venom from the 80s. Nobody in the 70s knew what that was. They just said, well, we're rock and roll. Mm-hmm. Like even Motorhead. They never said we're heavy metal.
He admits, Lemmy says, we're not metal. We're hard rock.
We're hard rock.
Right.
We're just a rock and roll band.
Right.
I'm still trying to make it 40 years later.
Okay. Shall we hear a little Blue Cheer?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. Here's Blue Cheer back from 1967. This is Summertime Blues.
Right.
And something I...
Summertime. Oh, well, my mama, papa told my son you ought to make some fun. If you want to use a car, I go right there. but there ain't no cure for the summertime. I'm gonna take me 3 weeks. I need to have a fine vacation. I think I take my brother to the United States. Gonna tell my congressman, and he said, well, thank you, boy. Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do, but there ain't no cure for the summertime.
No.
Okay, whatever happened to the Blue Cheer?
I guess just like the regular cheer that went in the laundry basket.
It's very different from the original.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
It's a little, yeah. I think the Who played that live at Leeds too, didn't they?
They did that. Yeah.
Who was the Eddie Cochran?
Eddie Cochran was the original.
Yeah,
really good song, but very different from Blue Cheer and the Who.
Yeah, completely different.
I think Eddie Cochran is better than the Who. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Blue Cheer, Blues Magoos, all those. They had a short shelf life, didn't they? They didn't have that span of super groups or maybe a few years.
Yeah, you're right. They were what you call a product of their times.
Right.
They didn't have the staying power because they got caught up in the scene.
Yeah.
You know, the holy triumvirate, the sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Yeah. And
they evolved too. Both the Blues Magoos and Blue Cheer evolved. They went from very heavy metal to psychedelic, and then they became. I even have an album with the Blue Cheer where it's almost like countryish. So they evolved, and a lot of people lost interest.
Yeah. Dave Clark 5, I know they don't belong here, but I guess the bass player passed away.
Dave Clark 5.
You know.
Nice. Not metal.
They're not metal, and at a time they were
very
popular. The Beatles. I mean,
They're
very popular
for
a couple of years, but they didn't have the shelf life either. You know, about 3 or 4 years, and they were very popular.
But that's it. They didn't evolve like the Beatles and the Stones.
Yeah,
they just stagnated.
Yeah, they were glad all over for a couple of years. You know, but they had that Because, and they had a few other songs in there, but they just faded away.
Sometimes bands have a lot of trouble writing a sophomore record that matches the first.
Right.
So if they don't have the talent themselves, they have to go out and find songwriting partners. And what happens when you can't find anybody good? What happens when the record company says, give us something by a fixed date or else we're going to cut you? So they're stuck under the pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Some people just can't handle the pressure.
Right.
So they have to go back to slicing meat at the butcher.
Right.
So working at ShopRite, the meat counter.
So Ozzy Osbourne, he came. He's Black Sabbath, right? Ozzy, and I think they came maybe early 70s or something like that.
February of 70 was the album release.
Right.
But they were rehearsing in the late 60s. And John knows that the Tony Iommi was another band called Earth.
Right.
But it was more blues oriented.
Tony Iommi was even in Jethro Tull.
That's right, for like a half a second.
He appeared on one TV show and then just decided, I don't like this. This is weird. And by the way, Ian Anderson is a total taskmaster.
Well, Ian Anderson was a pain in the posterior, to say the least.
Yeah, he used to make fun of Ian and said that this was Ian Anderson and his band rather than the Jethro Tull.
Exactly.
Ian Anderson and the Jethro Tulls rather than Jethro Tull.
Right.
There was no autonomy. There was no room for him. He was just a hired gun.
Yeah, I remember that.
Jethro Tull won the Heavy Metal Award.
That was scary.
The same year that Metallica was nominated, like 88 or 89. It's like,
somebody was on some strange substance when they voted that. That really was unbelievable.
That was just a slap in the face to heavy metal. Yeah. And so many people who would have respected the institution of the Grammys and the American the different award shows and the different recording industry people just thumbed their nose at that and said, this is obvious. You're picking Jethro Tull over Metallica? Yeah. Come on, it's a no-brainer.
But my understanding is Jethro Tull's name wasn't even on the nomination list. And then all of a sudden it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, just as a total slight to young people. Like, whatever you have to say doesn't matter. Whatever bands you're interested in, we don't care. We're going to give it to whoever we want to give it to. The fix is in.
That's true.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Black Sabbath. Is it true he bit heads rats off? Or
there are funny stories about that. There was one instance with a dove and one instance with a rat. Or with a bat, not a rat.
Right.
Those are all in his solo career after he'd been invited to,
the Blizzard of Oz.
After he'd been invited to leave Black Sabbath.
Invited to leave. I like that.
Right. It's an easy way to say he got booted.
Yeah. He got the bum's rush. Tony Iommi was his closest friend and did that to him. Or Bill Ward was the closest friend, but Tony Iommi had a rivalry with him and told him, your drug habit's out of control.
But I think it was justified, though. It was justified.
Yeah, but it was deeply impactful.
It was a wake-up call.
Never Say Die was a weird record, but maybe if they'd all got themselves fixed up, the next record could have been awesome. Just like Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, or Master of Reality. But the story with the Dove comes with his wife Sharon telling him, we're going to go to this record, we're going to go to a meeting with the record executives with, I think it was Jet Records or CBS or something in New York. Wouldn't it be nice, just to have doves flying around the room just like as a symbol of peace? She's a nice woman. So Ozzy was a bit of a madman, and he saw a dove flying around, and he just bit the head off of it. And the lady sitting next to him just threw open a table. They all freaked out.
And his dark side came out.
He got what he wanted. He got attention.
Oh, he sure did. Like Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper did the same thing in '67 on stage with the chicken. Zappa called him the next day. Goes, "Is it true?" He goes, "No, I didn't do that, but don't tell anybody. It was great."
Yeah, but Alice Cooper was more of a showman. Where Ozzy Osbourne is the kind of guy where he sees it and he believes it. He really is that kind of madman. Alice Cooper is Vincent Fournier. He puts on the Alice Cooper shock rock persona. Right. But Ozzy Osbourne is Ozzy all the time.
Was Alice Cooper considered heavy metal or not?
It was a kind of, there was metal involved, but it was more like theatrical, hard rock, psychedelic.
He's got the metal flavor on the stage show, but not the metal music. Like the first three records have piano.
Absolutely.
Metal.
Yeah. The Dwight Fry was a bizarre song. It wasn't metal. It was more like it was made for a horror movie.
Yeah.
All right, so let's hear Iron Man. This is from
Paranoid.
Paranoid, and
this is an anti-war song.
Anti-war song. Okay.
there must be 10,000 other bands that got born out of those first 3 Sabbath records, or first 4.
Seems rather, simplistic. In the just some basic chords, but it does have it does have a depth to it.
The beauty of it is the arrangement of the chords. Really simple bar codes, chords, and so on. But the way you arrange it, that's the most famous riff of all time.
The nice thing about the first 4 records are, if you want complicated stuff, go to side 2. Go to tracks like Warning, or tracks like Sleeping Village, or After Forever, stuff like that. More complicated, or Behind the Wall of Sleep.
Nice, very nice.
Things like that. But if you want the straight ahead,
basic power,
the punch to the face, heavy metal. And you got Paranoid. You have NIB. Stuff like that.
So when they booted Ozzy out, what year was that about?
1978, 79.
79.
Yeah, it was 10 years after the first record. They'd put out like 7 or 8 records with Ozzy over the course of the 10-year period. They toured the world.
Were they ever the same without him?
No. Neither were the same without each other.
They've always been, well, the era with Dio and the era with Tony Gillian, they were trying to hit that niche that they had with Ozzy.
To recapture it? No.
But there is something magical about the combination of Ozzy's vocals, Tony Iommi's guitars.
The chemistry was unbelievable.
Chemistry's different with Ronnie James Dio.
Even with Dio, I mean, Dio was a great, but I don't think it went with Black Sabbath.
No. Dio was great, but Dio is a struggling doo-wop singer. He's got a whole different vocal range.
I remember his first album with another band called Elf.
Yeah.
It sounded nothing like what came after that. It was more like power pop music, not metal, not even hard rock.
It's fine. It's just not Black Sabbath.
No.
Like you look at a band like the Beatles. Say everyone else had lived and John Lennon had died. If you replace John Lennon with someone else, is it still the Beatles? Or Led Zeppelin with a new drummer, is that still Led Zeppelin?
Well, the Beatles did have a different drummer, right? It wasn't Ringo, and then they put Ringo, but it was still the Beatles.
Right. Yeah, they had this guy Best.
Right,
well, they had
Pete Best,
and they had Stu Sutcliffe.
Right.
Yeah,
so
and
they had 3 drummers.
When Epstein took over their management, he said we need a better drummer, and they got Ringo. And Ringo was perfect for that band. He wasn't a stellar.
No, he wasn't Ginger Baker. No, but he was good.
He was good.
No Ginger Baker.
No Ginger Baker, but for that group, you didn't need Ginger Baker.
No, you didn't.
No,
because it was all about the lyrics, not the musicianship.
Right.
It was the lyrics that were the thing that got you.
Right. So I think he was just right. All right. So let's hear another Black Sabbath. Paranoid.
You want to go further up the catalog?
Whatever you want. That's fine with me. Anything is good.
What do you want to hear from?
I loved Fairies Wear Boots.
Fairies Wear Boots.
I love it. Jazz, not even hard metal. It was a jazzy riff.
All right, let's see.
It's not an anti-war song. It's an anti-drug song.
Yes, it is. Exactly right.
Okay. And what's the name of it?
Fairies Wear Boots. It's on the Paranoid record.
All right. I'm trying to find it.
When I heard it first, I said, this is fantastic. It's not even hard, but it has such great riffs in it, jazz riffs.
It does. Every guitarist grows up learning to play Black Sabbath songs, partly because songs like NIB or Paranoid or Black Sabbath are so easy to play, but then because they get to be so catchy.
Right.
What album is it on?
I think it's on...
it's the Paranoid album.
Paranoid album. All right. What's the name of the song again? Fairies Wear Boots?
Fairies Wear Boots.
All right, let me just type that in.
This might have been autobiographical.
Oh, with Ozzy, there's no doubt about it.
All right.
No doubt about it.
Okay, here's Fairies Wear Boots. there we go. That was a really good song. I like
that's
the drum.
one of my favorite songs
drummer's
of Black
good.
Sabbath. One of the top 5.
Yeah.
It's really very good because it has jazz signatures.
Yeah.
So, a song like this defines Black Sabbath. Not Paranoid, not a simple song like NIB. This is Black Sabbath.
All the changes are going on through the song. The
Right.
shifts. It's
Right.
like they have one of those transmissions there. You have to actually shift into gear,
Yeah.
and he goes
Right.
through many changes in it.
Right. So yeah, I like the drum work on that. It was
Yeah.
Very good.
very good.
Yeah.
Who was the drummer? Do you know?
Bill Ward.
Billy Ward.
Billy Ward. Very
Mhm.
good.
Bill,
very
Bill
good.
Ward is one of the top 10 metal drummers.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the technical prowess of a Neil Peart, so people wouldn't put him in the top 3, but anybody who's into metal would say Bill Ward, Black Sabbath, top 10 drummer.
Yeah,
What
no
makes
doubt
Bill
about it.
Ward such a great drummer is not that he's so technically proficient, but that he is such an intense human being.
He's very, very passionate about what he does. It's not just a job. If you've ever seen him play in the early days, I mean, he's really gets into it.
Mm-hmm. I bet. Yeah. It sounds like it. So we're going to end today's program with Deep Purple. Okay, and of course, Hush is what comes to your mind.
Phase 1, yeah.
Phase 1, but obviously that's just the cover song for that group. But tell us a little bit about Deep Purple.
Well, you got another quintessential British band.
Right.
It seems that maybe the roots of rock and roll are in the black blues from Mississippi,
Right.
but then you have this British taking over. Not even the British invasion, but the British taking over. And you got Deep Purple, you have Led Zeppelin, you have even other bands like The Who, Rolling Stones. They just take the music by the horns and twist it into something different. And Deep Purple is one of these bands.
Mm-hmm. Who's the players in the group?
Richie Blackmore.
Richie
He's
Blackmore.
famous and infamous at the same time.
Right.
John Lord, who just passed away, the organist. Originally, Deep Purple was supposed to be a copycat of Vanilla Fudge, but they evolved.
Yeah. And then we have another good drummer, Ian Pace.
Right. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, so what do we want to play from Deep Purple? And basically, what the group went from what time to what time?
They had a couple of different lineup changes.
All right.
Rod Evans was the original singer.
Then they picked up David Coverdale.
right,
And
which was a
then
big
they picked
mistake
up
in my opinion.
Glenn,
Well, that's
Glenn
another
Hughes.
Glenn Hughes was superb.
Yeah.
Didn't Coverdale play with Page? Or
He was
Yeah.
Whitesnake and all
Yeah,
that.
although I'd say-
There was in '93 Coverdale Page. That's one of
Yeah.
my favorite records. It is awesome.
It is not one of mine, but that's all right. Not because of Coverdale. Page
Yeah.
was great.
It's different. I could see how maybe Atlantic wanted to put them together because David Coverdale looks like Robert Plant.
Oh, there's no
From
doubt about
far
it.
away
His
it's-
hair, just his
Yeah.
hair, could be a clone.
In the right kind of light, it looks like a replacement for Robert Plant. He's a good singer. He's no Robert Plant.
No,
but if
not
you
even
look at
close.
that record and you have no expectations, it is an awesome record.
It is. But Robert Plant is not Robert Plant. Let's put it that way. Robert
Oh.
Plant is not as great as people think he is. But
I
definitely
think
not
he's,
Coverdale.
I think he's 10 times better.
You know, I saw
he changes too.
on Palladium. I don't know if you ever watched that
I do.
station.
I do.
Paul Rogers.
Paul Rogers is a fantastic
Yeah,
singer.
Bad Company.
they
I
had
mean,
him on, yeah.
and
He was
Free.
probably-
Forget about Bad Company. Free was better than Bad Company.
Yeah. Free. He sang All Right Now.
Absolutely, and that wasn't
was
even
him.
their best song.
Was that Paul Rogers?
That was
singing
Paul
that?
Rogers.
I never knew that. I knew he sang Feel Like Making Love and
Yep.
all that stuff with Bad Company. But,
Free, underrated guitarist,
Yeah.
Paul Kossoff,
Yeah.
who died after Free broke up and all that stuff. Great guitarist.
Yeah.
But Paul Rogers is great. Now he's with Queen, which is sad, but all right.
Well, he's got to pay the bills sometime.
That's true. The electric bills are piling up.
Oh, he's with Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Queen came
He's
out.
with Queen now with Brian Mays and all.
Yeah, he came out
Yeah.
and played a
It's-
little bit. Yeah.
So that's another one of these things. Is it still Queen? Freddie Mercury's gone.
Well, Brian May, he's at the helm now.
Then why not call it Brian May's Queen? Give it a different name. Don't
No,
sell
they
people.
still call it Queen in memory of
When they
Freddie.
play in concert, they usually have Freddie Mercury up on a screen.
Yeah, they
and
do.
They play.
Which is
play
good.
off of
It's
that,
good.
You know, like the Who did with Keith Moon. I don't know if you saw that benefit for Sandy. They had Keith
Right.
Moon up there.
And
they
AC/DC
played-
did the same thing with Bon Scott.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they put him up there and they kind of play a song.
I think they're
with him.
setting a trend now.
Yeah. So, what song from here would you recommend?
Of what phase? Phase 1, 2?
We got Deep Purple and Rock. Who do we think we are? And an unknown thing. So we have two. I see 2 albums up here.
Well, I was going to recommend the album Machine Head, but
I don't see that.
it's not there.
No.
So whatever you want to play is fine with me.
Women from Tokyo.
That's good.
All right.
Not their best, but
Yeah.
still good.
All right. Here we go. Woman from Tokyo.
Anyway.